a video popped up on my Instagram For You page, and it was so funny. And when a video is at very low quality, I already know the video is just going to be absolutely hilarious, and it was. I want to preference, by the way, I have really bad abdominal pain. I went to the hospital. I'm going to the doctors for it. Still another issue. I'm going to be breathing heavy, and might have mental fog. I'm going to have a couple of things wrong. So if things sound a bit off, please bear with me. But we're talking about scalpers, and or more like more like scammers, okay? Not like the scalpers. I'm talking. I mean, they probably combine it of both. But y'all know what breaks are, right? I think breaks are good. I think they're actually really good in a way where they build community in a strong way where people are outside don't understand. Because a lot of people are like, I want to open the packs by myself, right? And you can do that, right? I mean, now it is a bit more difficult, but obviously, like if you have the money, you can do so, right? But I think a lot of people kind of find it hard to understand that a lot of people want one of their favorite creators that they spend a lot of time watching to open their stuff. Because there's that certain type of community and bond that can happen when it comes to a chat member and a YouTuber they watch, right? Because you can think of a YouTuber that you watched back in the day that you enjoyed very much. And I can think of one as well. And I know that if I saw them after, whatever I went through in life and they were there to cheer me up and I could watch their content, right? I know that'd be so dope to like popular MMOs to open some Pokemon packs for me. That'd be freaking dope. Like that was my childhood. Not everybody you watch as a child is gonna open up Pokemon cards for you, but you kind of get my point, right? And so I don't think breaking is a bad thing. Now, there's definitely some things with breaks that are a bit interesting. I think the prices that some people have of breaks are a bit interesting. I have started to kind of have this mindset to understand that some people have certain prices because you're basically paying the creator to open it and, you know, for the whole production cost and all that type of stuff. So I've kind of started to realize why people price them at a different scale. Obviously, Pokemon cards are harder to get nowadays as well, so I kind of get that. But what I saw on my timeline today on Instagram was just a blatant scammer. And it was like one of those scammers that suck, like which is crazy because like you would think if you're a scammer you wouldn't be so bad at it, right? And I'm not ever condoning scamming, but I mean this guy was a actual idiot. Let me give you a rundown. Basically, this video pops up on my For You page. He accidentally shows like three cards when you're holding cards, and it showed like the border of one. At the end, it looked like to be an EX card. It didn't even look like anything crazy. He then goes to say, oh my goodness, is someone calling me? Looks around. You could literally hear, like, the quality's so bad, you could literally hear him turn, right? So then you see the card slowly move away from the camera. And then he's like, oh my goodness, did I get an Amber Alert? Guys, am I back? Am I back? Then proceeds to pull out the card. You can hear in the video him moving around the cards. He goes, Amber Alert? Is that an Amber Alert? Am I back? Then proceeds to move the cards back. Shows no pulls. The funniest thing ever. What's so funny is not only can you hear him in his potato 420p Samsung iPhone 6, you can hear him moving the card, right? But he scanned for an EX card. That card did not look bonkers. The border, I guarantee, was an EX. Wasn't anything bonkers. So I thought that was funny. Obviously, I feel really bad for the people that actually got scammed. And I do question the fact of how long he was able to scam, but also how easy is it to make an account to scam, right? Like I know Shopify is really easy to do to open up. Like I know it's easy to open up and such like that. But I know Shopify also is good in the regards of being able to do what's right. And to be honest, Shopify is more on the customer side than they are the seller side. And I know that personally for me getting scammed on Shopify. And well, I'm not a scammer, but I've got scammed before. And stuff like eBay as well does that as well. A lot of platforms are really more for the seller, sorry, are there more for the buyer than the seller, which is unfortunate. But this was, on that app that everybody knows. We all know the app that does that. But that's what sucks is that I at one point I actually wanted to go on Whatnot and sell and stuff like that. But the thing with Whatnot that for me personally that I can't wrap my head around as much is that a lot of people pay over more than what the card's worth And for me personally, that's not something I'd be able to live with. You know what I mean? Because business, you want to make money, and I understand that. But I think there's a level to where like you I think it's better to make a lot of money when it's actually worth it. And if I were to sell that box, for example, right here, the RCS box, and I put it, you can put it up for $1, right? But if it's a bidding war, it might go up to 180. Box is worth 140. Yes, technically, I'll make money from it, sure, but it's just like that's not what the box is worth market wise. You know what I mean? So I don't know. People can spend however much money they want to. Like I'm not trying to change your opinion, right? I'm giving you a reason why I'm, not really wanting to sell. Now I have heard it is good state tax wise, like taxes wise, whatnot might be pretty good for that. Meaning like when you have to pay state tax and sales tax stuff like that, like is easier, and that's why you should do that compared to Shopify, where Shopify you have to do a lot more things yourself, where whatnot can maybe I think may be able to do a lot more. So I've thought about using whatnot as a way of like eBay in a sense, because there's less transaction fees compared to eBay. At the moment, I wanted to do a business, but I've kind of been stuck on this fact of big pressure on taxes and not being able to understand it fully on state tax, sales tax, all that document type of stuff. Like, I do YouTube, but YouTube is a whole different ballgame comparatively to a business. So it's one of those things where I'm still thinking about it, right? And you guys see collection boxes and stuff here. I have almost, I would say almost $1,000 in singles and graded, and maybe $1,000 in sealed. So I think I would need a lot more. And I think at the moment I'm gonna build up. Like I'm gonna get a bunch of packs Paul Day Evolved. Like that's a deal I was looking at the moment. A lot of crane packs. I think as it's Chinese. The simplified Chinese thing is really sick, so I'll probably pick up a bunch of those. But when I ran my business personally, and where I was able to get the best community, best reviews, is I did bundles. I did where, well, I mean, for me personally, I was able to buy below market and sell still below market, but still make profit. Obviously, the margins were super low, and I only ran the business for about 8 months because, well, there's only so much product I was able to pick up that quick because it's difficult to, the ins and out of the business was if I sold on TikTok Shop, I'd have to wait 30 days for revenue. So being having to wait 30 days after each sale after it gets delivered is not possible unless you have thousands of dollars. And at the time, I only had 1,000 or two. I didn't have the money because it was sitting in freaking TikTok the whole time. I'd have to wait 30 days. That's not possible to create a smooth ecosystem, if that makes sense. So that's why personally I wasn't able to continue running it because I ran out of product and I wasn't able to pick up more because TikTok Shop takes way too long. But that's beyond the point. It's all good. Like I know Whatnot pays, I think it was every week I heard, so that's a benefit with Whatnot that I thought about. But for me personally, I like that I was able to sell bundles because I gave you guaranteed value, and a lot of them had more value than what it was worth. And sometimes it kind of hurt the business at times, but my mindset was think about the customer more than the seller. And I really enjoyed that mindset. And maybe I didn't make as much as I could have, but I did a lot for the community. And I really love that because, you know, there's a lot of toxicity when doing a Pokemon business, especially nowadays. And for me personally, I was called a scalper, like by hundreds of people, which I found weird for someone who sold below market, didn't buy in stores, and only bought people's collections or buying online from other businesses. So obviously, I had to realize that like people don't know what the word scalping means, and they're obviously mad they can't go to the store because of other people. And that kind of wraps into what I want to talk about of people being the bad apples ruining what is actually good, because I think whatnot can be good. I think whatnot it's actually a good idea of a website to where it's a lot of training cards that people can go to, pay however much, right? And get cards and enjoy streaming with their community. I know TikTok Shop's pretty cool too. Unfortunately, I have seen TikTok Shop do the whatnot route where they're doing bids. I find that, interesting as well because there could be bad apples that use a second phone to bump up their price to then that card is now a lot more expensive, and that one person that's bidding is basically bidding against the seller. Like, you can't tell me that's not something that's happening. That's 1,000,000% happening, right? And so I think it's interesting that that could be happening. Actually, not could be. That's definitely happening. It's just not being published as much. What you see the most is people pulling a full art or an EX, and they'll pull it off the screen and go, "Oh, damn win." What do you do? It wasn't the win. I don't know, I think bad apples is obviously what can ruin a lot of something that's good. I think breaks are cool. I think they're a great thing. Great for community. It's great for Pokemon themselves. It's great for people because some people can actually make jobs out of it. But I think it's fantastic. I think it's a cool thing that some people can actually have a job from that, right? Because a lot of people can do really well doing that. And not only to provide the production of opening and such like that, but make people's days, make people forget about the world, real, weird, cruel world that we live in, right? And so I think personally, one thing I question is, how are people so dumb? Like, I never want scammers, or I hate scammers. But man, a lot of these scammers are straight stupid. Like, like it's actually so bad, bro. Like, it's it's the worst acting you like. I've seen corn with better acting. Like, let's keep it a buck, bro. Like, it's actually so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, it, the guy literally said there was an Amber Alert on his phone, which you would have heard made no noise. All you heard was him moving around the cards with his greasy hands. Like, hold on, I have to take a deep breath. I hurt my side. But you get my point, right? There's bad apples, but just because there's a bad apple in a scenario, that shouldn't turn you away from something that's good, right? Like, I would hope that if you see one scammer, you don't turn away from Pokemon. Or if you've been a breaker with one person and one guy scams you, you stop breaks altogether. You can do what you want, of course, but what I want to tell you is, like, you want to be just, be fair. You know what I mean? Like, don't be going around calling everybody scalpers, right? Because not everybody's a scalper. Some people actually have good intentions. Don't miss out on breaks when, if you maybe enjoyed them before because you watched a video of some guy doing it and the person that you go to breaks have never scammed before, right? Like, don't put people in the same category when they're not, right? There's good people and there's bad people. Don't mix them together because they're not the same. And honestly, again, one of these days, if it's God's will and I'm able to figure out how to run 6 YouTube channels all while having a Pokemon card business, I'll go about doing that. I would love to open my Pokemon card business soon, even if that's only selling singles and graded cards, not doing breaks. Maybe down the line do breaks, maybe I don't. But I think it's something to talk about. Scammers are bad. Call them out. Do whatever you need to do. Like, I would 100% believe you should call out every single scammer. You know, tell them what they are. Like, they're weirdos. You know what I mean? You are a weirdo. Like, you openly know what you're doing, and you're ripping off a card game that was really if you want to go to the bare bottom of it, it was made for children. Like, it's not like, yeah, adults, I know, but I'm trying to dig in the wound a little bit, right? Scalpers, call them out if they're actual scalpers, right? If someone's buying someone's collection, that's not a scalper, you know? If someone's going to a Target and then selling online, that's a scalper. That's stealing from kids. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference. And I wish some people kind of use the brain that God gave them to be able to tell against that, because some people don't, and it's kind of sad. Like, I'll look at the comments of a business, and I mean, mine's the biggest example, but I mean, I've seen other people where they're called scalpers when they're just running a Pokemon business like any other one would, legitimately. And then you'll see ones that are actual scalpers, that are actual scammers, but yet people are misconstrued and think they're a good business. So I find that super weird, super interesting, how people just think like that. You know what I mean? But Again, you know, buy what you want. If you want to buy from a scammer or a scalper, buy from a scammer or a scalper, right? But you know, for the most part, you're probably watching this, probably the same mindset, right? You want to buy from people that make sense. You don't want to get scammed. You want good prices. You know what I mean? Like that's what everybody wants. So that's what I would think at least. So, I mean, that's what I would say. I think breaking is not a bad idea. Go for it. I think that's a. I love that idea. Cool Trina Ryan does it. Royalty Gaming Pokemon, I think his name is. He does that too. There's a lot of people that do it. I think it's cool. But there's scalpers out there, like the videos you'll find on Instagram. There's scammers you'll find on Whatnot. Like, but it doesn't make Whatnot a bad app just because of a couple bad people. You just gotta watch out. God bless. Jesus loves y'all. It hurts to talk now, so I gotta end the video. Catch y'all.